Minutes before. There we go. Welcome, everybody. Hello, hello. This is Jim Tanner. This is our mastermind for Monday, May 15th, which is technically the second week of the 90-day run, the second Monday. So as we're getting started here, I've got a few thoughts to kind of keep us on some rails to run on. But the first thing I'm going to start with is we have one Monday night event to reflect on. The most obvious thing to talk about is it went long. So I've looked at the slides. I did the Hartford Super Saturday in person on Saturday, and I got that done with testimonials in 35 minutes. So I made some adjustments before that. I did it. I don't feel like I left anything out. So I think we're going to be good. I think I'll be okay tonight. Probably get that done in about 30 minutes, maybe 35, but definitely not 40. And then I've tightened up the getting started training as well. There's been some feedback from all of you about the replay. So I want to hear from folks about the replay, but it seems that generally the feedback is that you'd like the replay to be available without the getting started training, included in that one recorded video. And maybe maybe you don't want that at all for the replay, or maybe you just want it as a separate video so that you can give that to somebody kind of after they sign up. So let's start with that. Let's talk about what you like, didn't like, because by the way, you're not hurting my feelings. This is a mastermind. So what was good? What could be improved from Monday night? And your feelings about the replay. Are you using the replay? Do you think the replay matters? Stuff like that. So everybody should be able to unmute. This is that kind of a meeting where we're just having a chat. So jump in, talk, and let me know what you're feeling. Anybody, everybody.
Hey, great morning, everyone. I'm just going to chime in right quick. So I like both of the replays. I personally would prefer them to be separate because as you just mentioned, Jim, maybe you want to do the getting started information, send it to existing associates or maybe new associates where they don't necessarily need the overview, but they definitely need the getting started replay. So I like both. I am excited about your shortening it down a little bit, only because I kind of think in the mindset of like a new person, whatever, their attention span may or may not be that long. So they might actually start to lose interest of completely watching it or even paying attention to completely watching it, which of course we always hope that they do. And that's why we follow up. But I know that with two of my new recruits, I actually used all of the new stuff with them and then spoke to them on that. But I did also use the original Mark Rich's video, and then I moved them to the AOC information as well. And so far, it seems to be going pretty good. I was able to talk to them about it, and they shared the information about it, as well as they love Jackie Cote's part in the getting started training. So I'm going to go thumbs up with it. So I like it.
All right, great. What else we got? Feedback, concerns, comments, changes.
I like splitting it for the exact reason that Sonora said, because that getting started was great. I mean, we do the presentation and the testimonials and stuff, but I think that, we have that type of information in a lot of formats. But the getting started is something that I think that people get confused on. And if we make it simpler for them to get started, sometimes I think we overcomplicate it, and I was listening to, Bill Walker. And then I was also listening to on Saturday, Super Saturday, about how easy it is to get people started. And if you just give them an outline of this is boom, boom, boom. And then once they get to that point, then you get them to the next thing. You wait till they make 2 steps before you tell them they have to make 25, and in the Compound Effect book, oh my God, Tammy, that's the best book you could have recommended. I could listen to that book every day. And was there a second Jeff Olson training that you were talking about, Jim, that I missed or something? Is it just the one?
It's just the one. We're just listening to it.
Okay, I'm going to listen to it again
as many times as we can between now and day 90.
Yeah. Okay. But that's, I like both of them. And I think maybe if we, like you said, like get that first half down to like under 30 minutes, and then the second half gets really focused on like getting started. I think that would be good.
Okay, sounds great. Anyone else want to chime in on that, or do you want me to move on to other topics?
I just had something. I think I sent you a text about it, but the in between the overview and the training, like maybe like a 2-minute, like after a couple minutes, like start like a 2-minute timer, just so if you see the screen, just because from like trying to view it from an objective point of view, like just like something to know that, okay, hey, in 2 minutes something else is starting. I don't think there was a whole lot of drop off. I don't think a lot of people left the call, but like something, music wise, or a timer, like a 2-minute timer, like after a couple minutes or something like that, I thought might be something that could be added to it to kind of help the visual appeal of the whole thing overall.
I like that. So that way there's just some kind of action acknowledgement that the Zoom is still on while we're in that brief timeout. Okay, good. Yep. And one of the psychological things about that moment is there's guests that are weighing whether or not they're going to sign up, and during that break, the perception should be that there's other people signing up during that break. So that's why it's important for like us to shut down our cameras and just kind of like not give them something to look at, because what we want them to think about is what everybody else is doing while that's happening. But I like the idea of the music and the countdown for sure. Thank you for that. Let's see. Anyone have Super Saturdays this past weekend? Venus Powers did. You want to talk a little bit more about that from the associates perspective? I know that you had a great event, but kind of how that impacts those new folks.
Yeah. Learning from different people each month is something that's so vital. If you hear the same training all the time, you get in a mindset of that's the only way to do it. And everyone's telling you the same way. They're just giving you tips on their way. And you need to get those new tips and those new nuggets. And I don't think that Bill Walker's mouth was speaking that he wasn't giving a nugget, even when he was telling a joke, and he was showing you how to put humor into your presentation and showing you how to make friends out of strangers. And I think that was probably what I liked best about his presentation was, he is a true proponent of the 5-foot rule. There's someone 5 feet near you, you got to be talking to them. You have to at least introduce yourself and say, hi, I am. And if you never say, hi, I am, then, you've missed, hundreds of opportunities to meet someone. And, it was, when you go into that room, you really should pay attention and not be focused on other things, and I am so guilty of this because I am like the queen of multitasking. And, I used to go in and listen, but I would be like texting or following up with people or, prospecting and working, because I felt like if I'm sitting still, I should be doing something. But what you have to understand is sitting in that room is doing something. It's not idle time that you're sitting there not working. You are absorbing something that's going to make you better as a person. And he talked about personal development. He says, if you're not reading a book every month, if you're not reading, something that enhances your thought process or moves you forward, then, you're not doing the right things. You have to enrich your own brain before you can enrich anybody else's. And as a new associate, when you go into that and you hear that, and then you get the energy from other people and you hear other people asking questions, you get to learn from them as well. And then you go to the meeting after the meeting and you get to sit across the table from those folks and hear how they do things. And if you're stumped on something, we had our notebooks at the dinner table and people had their recorders all around in front of Mr. Walker, so that we were asking questions from every end of the table and everyone was recording him. I mean, I'm not kidding. He had a stack of cell phones in front of him with their recorders on. It was just so funny. But, you get to do that. And I felt I didn't feel well Friday after my lunch. And so I did not go Friday night, and I could kick myself for not going because it was what I heard. It was amazing. And I missed that, but I did a meeting Thursday night. I did one on Friday at lunchtime. And so by the time I got done with one at Friday, I was pretty whipped. So, but never let fatigue get in your way. Rich people don't sleep. And I learned that from, oh my God, how can I forget his name? You know, the Family Feud guy.
Someone else will have to help you with that one.
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. He said, rich people don't sleep. He says, you don't need 8 hours of sleep unless you're already rich. He says, you need to be, you know, if you're in California, he said, the stock market opens at 8, you're already, you know, 2 hours behind by the time you wake up. So you need to get up and get moving in the mornings. He said, the morning time is the time that rich people is the time that we get rich. He says, you don't get rich in the afternoon, you get rich in the morning. And so, that was another thing that Bill Walker talked about. And you learn those little nuggets at, you know, this is what time I get up in the morning. This is, I have these tasks done before anyone else can call me, you know, so you got to do that. And Sonora does it. Sonora messages is at 3 a.m. She's like, hey, I was thinking about this. So if you want to be fantastic like Sonora, you got to get up. You know, if you've got something on your mind, you can't sleep, get up and do something productive, you know. Okay, I'll quit talking.
Thank you, Venus.
Give somebody else that chance.
Who else had Super Saturday this weekend that they were at? Anybody want to jump in? Scanning. I don't know who's unmuting or Michael Robidoux. You were at Super Saturday. I know that because I was there.
Yes, sir. We got to spend some time together. And if I could say one thing about the Super Saturdays, spend as much time as you can with these leaders, with these champions of our business, because I got the opportunity to do the question and answer with Mr. Tanner on Friday. We had the Super Saturday, and then we went out for fellowship, went out to grab a bite to eat after, and he was just dropping nuggets left and right. And he said some things that I really needed to hear. So I thank you so much for that, Mr. Tanner. But if I can give anybody advice on the Super Saturdays, spend as much time with these folks as you can. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And I think that's a good point because sometimes, well, we lose about, I don't know, I guess it depends, you know, 50%, 60% of the room between the Super Saturday and the fellowship after. But a lot of times the stuff that I say, I've done a bunch of these, and the stuff I say in that after event is the best training that I've given. It's just that when I stand up at the front of the room, and I'm only speaking for me, when I stand at the front of the room, I'm doing the training I'm prepared to do. But once people start asking questions, it just fires off other parts of my brain, and we go down these roads that I wouldn't have thought of, but I can definitely address a lot of stuff. So it does end up being that. But I think the what I hope is the most impactful part of that fellowship piece is that if you didn't get it before, by that point you get that these are just real people. They probably started before you did. They've gotten real good at keeping it simple and duplicatable, and they're just executing on the things that work, and they've moved the stuff that doesn't work out of their lives. Not that there's something, you know, some kind of privileged class of people that have powers that you don't have, which is hopefully it makes it relatable. Mr. Fisher, did you have a Super Saturday this weekend?
Mine's is coming up this weekend.
Well, let's promote that. What have you got coming up?
Well, we have a ladies, what we call a ladies retreat Super Saturday. We have 4 of the top female producers in Michigan that's going to be in Okemos this Saturday from 11 to 2. And they're going to do the presentation, and they're going to do the training, and then also they're going to do a panel where they're going to be able to share their testimonies and their growth within the business this weekend.
Fantastic. Man, that's going to be good. And that's on LegalShowCalendar.com, I'm sure.
It's already on the calendar, yes.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Would anybody else like to talk about Super Saturdays they've been to or that are coming up? Anybody?
Yeah, so I'm unfortunately missed it with you. I had some plans change, but this morning I'm part of Miss Teresa Johnson's Mastermind in the morning, and she shared Mr. John Addison's Super Saturday this weekend. And that was really incredible. I have yet to, I've seen him at, you know, conventions and stuff, but I have not yet to actually see him in a Super Saturday. So the next, I feel like I'm going to try to track him down and find one that he's attending, because hearing just the playback was really powerful. It was a bit choppy because it wasn't a big room of people, but some of the things that he touched on were, he was talking about being around people who want to do something and make a difference instead of just existing. And I love that about this community of people that we have here, and just am so grateful for all of you that just, we just are here to help each other grow and make a difference and be that. And, I see so much in my community that people are just existing. They don't strive for anything. They don't have goals. They don't see any visions. Like, they look at like what I'm doing and they're like, you're crazy. Like, how, and I want to bring that to people. I want to bring, vision back and imagination into people's lives, because I've finally found it after not having it for so long. And it's definitely a game changer. He talked about, if you are big enough for your dreams, then your dreams aren't big enough for you. And I really like that. He talked about being kind to everybody. Hit him hard that he's just going to go out every day and he is just going to be as kind to every single person that he comes in contact with. Just try to make a difference in any person's life. Just be kind to people. And I loved that. And that's really what I strive for, because I just feel like I'm just such a happy go person, that I have so much energy, and I just get around people that are they're just downers and negative, and just it's like that black cloud, and I'm like trying to spread the sunlight and the sunshine to people. And I just love that we do that here, and we love to uplift people and bring that out in people and try to find people's passions. And that was a really big takeaway for me. So
Love it. Thank you, Holly. Appreciate that.
I do have to say, this weekend, Elizabeth Gardner is going to be in Atlanta.
Okay.
And if you can
I
drive
don't
to
know
it,
if I can't hear you guys, so I'm not sure.
can you hear
Oh.
me?
We can hear you, Holly. We can hear you, Venus.
Okay. But she'll be in Atlanta this weekend. I think it's going to be a great event. She's just such a superstar and just very real with people. And I think because it's at 2:00 in the afternoon, her like Friday night training may be Saturday night. I don't know. I haven't gotten the information on that yet, but whatever it is, I'm going to it because that woman is amazing. And I know you guys think this is crazy, but Steve Harvey is a huge motivation to me. He makes me laugh every day. And so, Holly, what you were saying of, open up your mind. He says, you can't share your dreams with small-minded people. You have to share them with like-minded people. He said when he was a little boy, in second grade, he told his teacher he was going to be on TV and have his own TV show, and he stuttered all the time. He just stuttered constantly. And she says, nobody like you is ever going to have their own TV show. He said, so out of appreciation for her motivation, he says, I send her a CD of my show for the year every Christmas. And so you have to just let people know that they told you no. It's like being told no. He lets her know that fired him at, in the second grade to be all he could be and be as great as he could be. So I'll stop talking now.
I think that's awesome. All right. So a couple things. First thing is, James Paris, are you going to intro and host tonight? I think that's what we talked about, right? And then John Fehrenbach is going to be the following Monday. Is that kind of where we're at? Okay. So we got a couple of those lined up. So you can get with me, not in this forum, but get with me. Just send me a message if you'd like to do a testimonial tonight. We'll do 4. I'm sure we can get 4 from the larger leadership group. You know what I'll do? I'll do a post in that messenger group, and we'll gather our 4 that way. And so that we'll get those lined up early. And now what I'd love to hear is some thoughts about that we can share with each other about how to get people, because here we are, it's Monday morning for those of us that are here live, and hopefully you're catching this before the day comes and goes, but what can we do to get people to this live event this evening? What are some of the tips you have for each other about how to promote rather than just post or let someone know that the meeting exists, but to promote it to them so that they can get excited about why they'd be plugging into the Zoom, stepping away from their families most likely, and maybe their job or something else important, to hear some guy they've never heard of talk for half an hour. And I'd love your thoughts.
Hey, Jim, I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to precede it with a little bit of a promotion. In Columbus, there's a Super Saturday with a $50,000 ring earner, J.R. Riddle, who's also been a two-time recipient of the Ladies of Justice Award for Fast Start qualification. So that'll be a great one to get to. All the details are at Legal Shield, our calendar. If you have any, if you can't find it, reach out to your upline or me or somebody will help you get there. As far as promoting this evening's event, I kind of went back to what I did before when we were promoting the meet and greets, that it's an opportunity to get, to see other people on the team, to know that it's just bigger than this voice you're hearing on the other end of the phone, and to hear from somebody other than me, and to hear some success. Well, I don't necessarily let them know they're going to hear success stories, because that sounds kind of, well, I don't know. It just, I don't say that. But anyways, just let them know that there's people that are, that they can see that there's other people. We're not on an island by ourselves, and that always seemed to, I don't know, make me feel better saying it anyways. So I don't know if it drove more people to the events, but that's one of the ways that I do it, by personally inviting them.
Great. Others?
I have something I'd like to pose along those same lines. The question is, like, I'm sending out text and making phone calls this afternoon, and I'm just starting to get some replies back, and I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on, should I send them to the like an overview video, or would it be better to say, hey, tonight at 9 o'clock we have a live presentation? I'm just wondering, what your thoughts or other thoughts might be on having them be part of the call live and hearing it live versus a recorded video on it. Since it's today that I'm doing it, I know, like, tomorrow obviously I would send them to the overview video, but just being the fact that it's going to be live tonight, the people that are reaching back out to me, which way might be a better way to go with replying to them?
I think others can answer too, but I would add that I feel like that you get a little leverage with the urgency of a live event. And if they tell me that they can't make it, so I kind of start there. And if they tell me that they can't be a part of that, then I walk it back to a video. Because a video I send in prospect, I still get to monitor if they're watching it or not. But the best thing is having an appointment with them, whether it's at a coffee shop or in the case of what we're doing tonight, it's an appointment, right? We're all coming together at the same time. So I like that. And I definitely don't tell them that I can get them the replay after. I learned that years ago. Like, if you give them any option besides the live event, they're going to choose that first. So I always just start with the live thing. But I'd love to hear other people's thoughts.
Hey, Jim, this is Barry Pritchard. I agree when we talked on Wednesday about when Miss Martin shared the fact that she liked to make phone calls rather than sending texts. And that's what I've been doing lately, is been making phone calls and being able to talk to a person rather than see a message. And it's been working out a lot better, because you actually get the person on the line the way you can build some kind of rapport, the way you can have a communication where you can get some laughter in there and build some kind of rapport where everybody can feel good about what's going on. So that's what I've been doing. And I wanted to say, Ms. Moore, and I thank you for that nugget.
Isn't that great? Thank you for that. And thank you, Tammy.
You're welcome. I got something to say here about this. And I may be coming at it at a different angle, but like I'm shooting down every road I can possibly get the message down, and every avenue. I'm sending out a weekly email to my team. And when I'm recruiting new people that coming on the team, everybody wants to be involved in something. Everybody's voice. I mean, people want to be heard. They want to know that they're speaking, they're being heard. And so, I'm introducing this to them and saying, hey, get your guest on here. This is going to take the pressure off of you. You're going to learn how to do a presentation. You're going to hear Mr. Tanner speak. You're going to hear him be able to explain how everything goes. And in the meantime, you're going to be learning, but you're also going to be earning because your prospects are going to be hearing the same thing you are. And then I let them know about the Wednesday circle up. I said, this is a very informal thing where you can actually ask questions. You can be a part of something. If you're having problems, you know, this is why we circle up. We're a community. And that has seemed to be working well for me, because then they are inviting their guests. It's the multiplication. You know, if I have 4 people, new people, you know, inviting 2 guests to people, that's what, 8 or whatever it is. I'm not a mathematician, but all I know is it's more than 1. So, you know, I'm thinking multiplication the whole time I'm doing this and figuring out ways to get it down every avenue, whether I'm out prospecting myself. I always invite them to this. Even if they've looked at it, a video, I say, listen, I would love for you to meet a Millionaire Club member that is amazing. And you will get the true insight, not just on a video, but you'll see somebody live. And even if they recruit or not, I still invite them. So that's kind of what I'm doing.
Thank you, Tammy. Who else has some thoughts about how to get their folks on? How to, you know, for some new associates, I'll just say this: it's a challenge to get them to bring their guests until they've experienced it. So if your associate's not coming or hasn't seen the replay, sometimes because they don't know what their guests are in for. So that's why it's good to get them on there, even with whether they have guests or not. But also, of course, it's better when they have guests with them. Whoever else just interrupting, sorry about that. Go ahead. Who was going to be next? No other thoughts about that? Okay. All right, let's talk about, let's go through my list. Hang on one second. You know, I think I was kind of saving this towards the end, but we're towards the end. So the whole point of this was to do something together, 90 days. We know 90-day runs work, concentrated, focused effort works, and we know the accountability of reporting our exposures works. I mean, all of that historically works. So isn't it interesting that we started with our goal for May, and this was just throwing a number out there because we had no idea. The goal for May was 1,000 exposures. The goal for June is 1,000 a week. In May, with still half the month to go, we're at 1,100 exposures. So we totally nailed that. Now, is everybody recording their exposures on a daily basis? No, absolutely not. People are doing exposures, so the number could be higher. Are some people counting views of their website as exposures? Yes, so the numbers could be lower. But I think it's pretty interesting that where we are in this reporting cadence, in the fact that people are talking about exposures, it's now part of their vocabulary. People are waking up understanding that core commitment number 3 is a part of their day. And all of that is a positive. And so we just want to keep continuing on that. So I'm going to rely on all of you to talk about that on Wednesday and to keep talking about it when we're not in these environments. When you're one-on-one with your associates, make sure that they know that that's what we do. And I'll also caution you, if you're the kind of person that did 10 exposures that day, great. And even though you know you did that and you're proud of yourself for doing that, and I'm proud of you for doing it, don't say it to your new associate, because you'll just kill them. It's a 2 exposure a day business. Yes, over here on the corner, the leaders are saying we're going to do as many as we can. We're going to get creative about how we do as many as we can. But 2 exposures a day is what we teach and celebrate and promote, because that's what everybody can do. That's what your elementary school teacher, new associate, can do right now while the kids are in school and she's working hard and she's exhausted at the end of the day. That's what people with 2 jobs can do right now. So you want that big group of people, because remember, our business formula that makes this work, a large number of people doing a few simple things consistently over a long period of time. And so we want to make sure that we are very clear about that. And you're doing great. We're going to keep championing the exposures. But here's what we're not going to do, because I've had some ask about this. We're not going to rank how many exposures people did, right? Because doing more is not better. Doing them consistently is. And getting and maybe as we move through this 90-day run and learn what we learned, in the next time we come together and do a 90-day run, what we'll do is we'll have a goal about how many people that day did 2 exposures. Instead of how many exposures, how many associates did 2. Because I think that with the ability to like plan, do, and review, I think that's an even more exciting metric to chase. So once we come through this 90 days with all this new information, we spend a month resetting and then go into a fall 90-day run, I think that's going to be the way we do it. How many, could you imagine if you had 1,000 associates on a 90-day run, each doing 2 a day? Now we're changing everything. And that's exactly what I want to do. So I wanted to make sure I celebrated that and talked about that, but also as we wrap up, who has thoughts about power training? Maybe something you've said before, maybe something you haven't said before, maybe something that was revealed to you from the power training audios that just hit you like a ton of bricks. Maybe it's something where you saw you were off track, or maybe you saw where you're right on the money and you're proud of that. And I'd love to the best of our ability, let's try to fit everybody in that's already started on power training so that you can hear this again. I'll just set it up for you. This is a 20-year-old training, laying down the exact fundamentals of how to do our business that have not changed. 20 years later, you know, he barely probably had an email address when he did that presentation. The reason it's audio and not a video is it would have been too expensive to shoot it 20 years ago. I mean, all of the whole world changed, and the way you build a business didn't. Isn't that interesting? All right, over to all of you. Everybody go at once.
Jim, I appreciated it, one, because I was at that training.
Oh, very.
I have the actual CDs of the power training and the power booklet. So listen to it again and hearing hearing Jeff again, it makes you feel that you're still on the right track. And that's the thing that made me, when he started going through, you get 5, they get 5, and continue on the 5 process, you really get to hear the fundamentals, like playing sports. If we work on the fundamentals, the better our game we get. And if we work on the fundamentals that he's presented us, the better we're going to get at doing presentations, the better we're going to get at training, and the better we're going to get at being able to produce a bigger team. And it just excites me as I listen to it, because my vehicle is a driving university. I don't listen to music at all. And I got the CDs just roll. I just roll them, rack them through, go over and continuously go over and over them. So I love it.
Fantastic. Anyone else? Somehow Venus Powers is on the screen and just let herself in. I don't know what that is. Okay.
I clicked on the wrong thing on the 90-day resource center. So I was trying to, but I love that Jeff Olson training. I'm telling you, I listen to it. I put my phone in my back pocket and my earbud in my ear, and I walk around. Everything I do, I'm listening to it. And then I switched over to the compound effect, but I'm going to listen to it again this week, but I've listened to it all the way through instead of just doing 15 minutes of it. I have to listen like to the whole thing and then go back and do it in chunks. I can't do like breaking it up because I can't retain it that way. But I wish that it was transposed so that we could read it, like sometimes reading and writing notes beside of the content is really good. So I'm going to see how I can get it.
It's an app. I can share.
Yeah,
it with
I know.
You.
I have a tool in my resource center that I can use too. But I was just going to see if I could transcribe it so that I can take notes from it. But he's absolutely right, and the things that he says. And I didn't hear that one, but I've been in sales trainings my entire career. Our corporate companies, the companies that I worked in, all the startup companies, they all invested money in sending us, for the weekend or 2 days, to have a sales trainer come in, on solution selling, spend selling. We were all required to, listen to Zig Ziglar's spend selling, and it's benefiting you if you listen to that training and if you utilize what he says in it. You can listen to it, not do it, but if you listen to it and do it, that's what the point of it is. And I have stacks of self-development books that I haven't even gotten to yet because I keep going back to the ones that I felt like made the most impact on my thought process. And so, I wish they were all on audio, but then you want to go back and read it. listen to the audio and take notes on it in the book so that you can, have that. So that's, when's your recording of your book going to be done, Jim?
Not as soon as I'd like, but I'm working on it.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just sit around on Zoom with all of you and I'll read it to you. We can record it.
I'm going to read it night with Jim.
Oh, look,
Reading that.
there, see what Barry's got there? That's the booklet that came in the CDs.
Came to pack.
Oh, the
Yeah.
power training.
We were talking about that. Well, I wasn't in Legal Shield at this time, but Barry, you and Jim were, I'm sure. But they used to send out CDs in the monthly newsletter.
Yeah.
That would be cool to have again.
It was called
Well, I mean, it
Digital
comes in
Connections.
Zoom now, that they don't have to
Right.
send a CD. But
It was very cool. All right, well, we're running out of time. James Paris, Holly Lavaro, I know you both wanted to add something. Fight it out.
Yeah, just a quick note about the power training. I thought it was quite interesting when Jeff got humbled about when he was talking of if there was anyone that could have came into this business and just lawnmowered it, mowed it over with his experience with doing the other forms of business that he's had experience and a lot of success with, that he knew that there was something different coming into network marketing, that there was something that was the power of duplication, of driving that down. And the way that he talks about, there's no chance of our business getting away from us if it's not simple to do. Somebody, when he's talking about, somebody 5 levels deep, still being able to do the same thing. And I know that's something that, that we, certainly promote here. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting how he was able to recognize that in himself, that he could have done it and he would, but then when he said to himself, well, if that worked, then it would have already been done. Like he knew there was something else that he was missing, and he was willing to figure that part out. And then his business exploded when he just had that simple thing, and getting some core people to do those simple things, and just how that geometric progression just happened in his business and how he describes it. I thought all that was very interesting. I like that part of it.
Thank you. I do too. Holly?
Yeah. No, that was great. Yeah, I loved when he talked about how he just started with the weekly meetings, and it just built from there, and talking about how he didn't have that in his area, so he started it. He would do the weekly briefing, and then he'd do a Monday luncheon with his mastermind people, and then he did a weekly training, and that's something that really intrigued me, that I do want to do here, and I haven't figured out the right day yet. Fridays, I guess, just do not work for around here, so I got to figure out the right day and just stick to it and just do it weekly, no matter who shows up, and doing it core like that. And he's talking about the exposures, and he's laughing, and he's talking about just throwing a business card out your front door, throw 2 business cards out, until you get every step you take it doesn't matter the baby step that you take, you're moving towards your goal. So he talks about those 2 exposures, even if it scares you to go out and talk to people, there's other ways of doing it. And I really liked that. It's a great training, and I definitely have been going through it. Unfortunately, it stops every time I get out of my Safari or whatever. It just starts right over. So I'm like, crap, where was I again? But I've went through it so many times. It's really good. So I'm glad to keep going through it. I also went through Melissa Peters, one of her master classes, again, really trying to get that language down, because I like the language that he uses, and I just love the language that Melissa uses. So I'm really trying to get that language down, and those questions and those responses and stuff.
I love it. Would anybody else like to jump in and add as we're wrapping up here? I want to get you guys off the line before the top of the hour. I'm sure you all have meetings scheduled.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
Holly, you just mentioned Melissa somebody. Who is that?
Melissa Peters. She is what, $400,000 ring earner in our business. She does the master classes though once a month. They're trainings, and they're found in the Ellis Engage under the training tab.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, folks, as we're wrapping up, so it's show day. It's Monday. We'll be back here refreshed and ready right before 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern. If the testimonial folks and our host could be on about 5 or 6 minutes before and help me get everything ready, that'd be great. Sonora Danzo, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Hey, everybody, just right quick, and I apologize. I'm doing a little bit of multitasking here this morning. I put in the chat that we do have a Super Saturday that's coming up this Saturday, and we're doing the Ladies of Justice Extravaganza. So if you have anybody that is in the Colorado area market or surrounding states, to get them invited, they can just register on Eventbrite. If you're sending any type of prospects, please, 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 please let me know and send them a picture of me, my name, my phone number, so they can directly reach out to me so that I can greet them and everything else, and then get them signed up on your website and not with one of our Colorado people here. Okay.
Thank you, Sonora. All right, folks, this is it. It's game day. I'm going to let you all go. Thanks for joining me. For those of you watching the replay, thanks for plugging in. And remember, all of this information is at agentsofchange.team under the 90-day support tab. Thanks, and we'll see you tonight.
All righty. Have a good one. Take care, everybody.